Should should we mute our phones so that only Randy is speaking and we don't hear each other?
I think I can
Yeah,
mute everybody.
that would probably be great. You can just do that little mute button down in that bottom left corner of the Zoom app. Yeah. And then feel free to just chime in with any questions at any time. So I have it so that I'm looking at my presentation, so I can't see the Zoom presentation directly. So you'll have to just kind of butt in there, and if you have a question, just go right ahead. So today I really wanted to give you some very quick kind of thoughts that I have pulled together, and some things, conversations that I've been having with some of my clients as well, just in what are some things that you could do right now, like just leaving here this afternoon, that can have an impact on local marketing, connecting with your clients, and getting the word out that you are still in business and or you're going to continue to be in business after all of this crisis subsides. So that was kind of the premise with this. And as I sat down and as I continued to like, oh, you know, there's this, should I hit this? And so I'm actually going to end up giving you more than just 3 things to do. So first one is go big on social media. You know, people are at home or they're in their offices and they're constantly looking at social media right now and trying to connect with people in one way or another. And they're looking for information, they're looking at news. And so it's a great way for you to make a presence, expand your brand, and connect with people in some different and creative ways. There's all kinds of different social media platforms out there, and depending upon what your particular business is, I think would kind of point to what platform would make the most sense for you. I didn't put LinkedIn on here, but LinkedIn is a great platform as well. And I know many of you are doing a fabulous job on social right now. And the things that you can do, and just as a reminder, when you're posting stuff out on social, especially like on Facebook and or almost on any of these, when somebody makes a comment or does something on your post, always respond. Say, hey, thanks for your insights, Randy, or, you know, I agree completely. You know, it can be generic, but the more that you can make it personal and direct, the better. But you should always respond, because doing so, creates that engagement, obviously, with that individual, but it also continues to keep that post active and alive. And so you're getting a lot more, if you would, kind of juice out of that one post. So the more that you can respond, the better. Always respond. And then I gave somebody this little special tip last night as well, is that when you do respond, use the individual's name. So oftentimes, like whether it's in Facebook and or LinkedIn, if you do the @ symbol and then say, okay, Randy Rhode, that profile of the individual will pop up, and you want to just select on that so that their name gets embedded in your comment as well. And there's a reason for that, because then it pushes it out through their notification feed, and it will then also distribute out beyond, it'll get into their feed and it'll distribute out beyond into their notifications. And so people that I follow, as an example, hey, Debbie commented on this, Lisa commented on this. I'm like, oh, great. So you can see all of this stuff, but it's another way to further create this ripple in social media off of a single action. And that's really what you're trying to do, is make this massive ripple in social media so that you get more and more eyes on whatever it is that you're posting. And so content that you should post, I mean, it can be information that might be relevant, timely, current event kind of thing that you can tie in something with your brand. Unique content, so especially something depending upon the service that you're offering. where you can create some really kind of unique content that people might be of interest. As an example, as a restaurant, you might tweet out, hey, here's one of our favorite at-home recipes that you can do at home tonight in 15 minutes. Things like that. If you're a dentist, here's some dental health tips you can do at home today. So there's a lot of different kind of great informational or unique content specific to your service. And so you have to sit and kind of think about a little bit, what are some things and topics that you could cover? And depending upon what the post is or what the medium is, it can be very short or it can be even lengthy. Keep it upbeat. There's obviously a lot of crazy and panicky information out there. So I think right now, especially, the more upbeat that you can keep your posts and your content, the better. I think people will connect and will resonate better with them. And the other thing, just as a final point on this, which is the 80-20 rule. So don't think about social media as that you're trying to sell something, but rather that you really are trying to connect and engage. And that 80-20 really is that 80% of your content should all be of value and content, and 20% of your content or your post should, or at most, say anything about, hey, and here's what we're selling today, or here's a promotion, or here's a special offer. So you really are trying to create that value in content so that people want to follow and that they'll want to continue to see what you're offering. And then you can kind of throw in every once in a while, and hey, if you're interested, here's something that you may want to come over to our website or stop into our store to pick up. But this that you're doing today with social media will have ramifications well beyond COVID-19, because you will begin to build this following. And when I say go big on social media, I mean you should be posting daily, even multiple times a day, on all of these different kinds of platforms, because the bigger that voice that you can have, the more influence that you're going to have. So that's the first tip. Any questions on that one?
And Randy, it's a dream come true for me, because if you know me on social media,
yes,
I'm in heaven.
Can I ask something? Can you hear me? Are you seeing the group chat? I think some of us are writing questions there, and maybe Molly, you want to curate those and decide when it's right to pop in. Is that possible? Or I can ask mine right now, but I just didn't know how you wanted to do it.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. I can't see the chat screen, so I'm just looking at my presion screen. So if
Carrie, do you want to ask yours?
Yeah, okay. Well, I was just asking two things. How many contacts via social media do you think are too much for consumers? So, and especially, I guess you got to differentiate email and Facebook because they work a little differently, but is sending an email more than once a week too much, and on Facebook, again, what is the saturation point for the consumer? And then also, I'm curious about any affordable email delivery options for really small businesses, single people businesses like me.
So yeah, I do have email as one of my kind of another one of these things out there. So a couple of great questions in there. One in regards to, what is the saturation point? And I mean, it's boggling to think about how many posts and pieces of information that flow through the internet and through these channels on a daily basis. I mean, you're talking billions, right, of posts and everything. And so I think, I think people are just kind of used to having a lot of stuff flow through. And the other thing, though, because there is so much information, that's why I tell, and when we work with our clients, you cannot be satisfied with just putting out 1 or 2 posts a week, because it will get lost. It's like throwing a stone in the ocean. It's so massive and the information is flowing so quickly that if you're not constantly trying to put something out there, you're just going to get overlooked. You're trying to relay rely on that instance when somebody may be looking, and depending upon the algorithm of the various platforms, whether your content is going to get pushed up into their feed or not. So that's why I'm, especially right now, the more that you can pump out there from a social media standpoint, the better, and your greater chance that you're going to be seen because of that. And then that's why I was talking as well about being sure that you comment and respond to anything that people would comment on yours, because you want to be able to keep that alive. And then as you do that, it creates a level of authority or importance of your particular brand and your link, so that then the next time that you post, your post will actually be further up in the feed and will hopefully get seen more. So I'm of the school of thought that I don't think you can almost over post in social media. Obviously it takes time, but there's a lot of different tools out there that can help you manage it. But again, you're trying to expand your brand so you can expand your market share. And I think he asked a question about mail, doing email campaigns. I believe email is a great medium. Probably 99% of the people check their email at least once a day, if not, multiple times a day. And email still is very, very active and a viable source for communicating with clients or customers and your customer base. I think email is a little bit different because you don't want to come across as spamming as well. And so I think, if you did something every 4 to 7 to 8 days is probably appropriate, depending upon what your information is. But the same kind of concept, I think, applies in regards to that 80-20 rule. I think if you're sending email, people will read your emails and engage with it if you're providing value of content. So it's not just always send an email because you're trying to sell something. And I think, more and more, your mindset from a social and an outreach and marketing should really be first, what kind of value am I providing to the recipients of this, whether it's on social or an email, and is it content that they'll engage with, so that we can further embed our relationship. And then after you really begin to galvanize that more, then you can come back again kind of in that 20% of content with some kind of an offer, come into our store, see what we have, here's a coupon, that kind of thing.
And Randy, we do have another question. Are paid ads on social media worth it right now?
That's so funny. I'm even going to zip right over into, I'm going to give you a bonus tip. I'm going to answer that because that's actually is my tip number 2. Bonus tip is video, right? So YouTube, don't overlook YouTube as a channel for social and for content. Video, you should be using video for your social posts as much as you possibly can, because people engage with video. And you never know what you're going to put out there. Be creative. That potentially could go viral. You see this stuff that comes across, and it's just, you get creative with what it is that you're doing. So as some examples of some social posts with video, like give examples of you, if you're a restaurant, give an example of you preparing a dish. If you're a craft store, give an example of you making, some little crafty kind of thing. Show what you do in action, and people engage with that, and they'll share it around like, oh, that's really clever, and here's some cool information. And then don't forget to post this stuff up on YouTube. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you're really missing out. It's the second largest search engine in the universe next to Google, and it actually happens to be owned by Google. So using YouTube effectively can really help drive both from an SEO standpoint, getting you out there in the marketplace, and people search. And you have to think about it as a search engine, not as just a place to kind of put videos. And so when you're doing videos, your mindset should always be kind of in the interrogatives, right? The who, what, when, where, how. And especially the how to create, how to cook an omelet, how to spend time with your family at home, how to blah, blah, blah. YouTube is huge and can really help drive a lot of visibility and ranking and eyes onto your brand. So that's a bonus tip, YouTube. Now,
And-
so I
and-
want to get to, all
Real
right.
quick, make sure you're subscribing because the chamber does have one. So make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube Chagrin Valley Chamber one.
Yes, very good. Yes, so the question about social ads, and I think, and especially, and this even just kind of galvanized this point, I think it was either yesterday or early this morning, that Facebook said, hey, you know, our ads, businesses and such are pulling back on ads, and so they're going to miss their quarterly numbers. It's a great time to do Facebook ads, especially if you're local, because you can get really hyper local on Facebook ads and you don't have to spend a lot of money for it. You can do very targeted, and again, if you're a restaurant, you can do very targeted. You go, people who like, what is your type of food? Hamburgers. People who like steak. People who like Mexican food. And get really targeted. You can specifically say, I want to locate people in Chagrin Falls, and only send that ad to these individuals. So you can get hyper targeted, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. So, I was trying to do things where that you could do today through this presentation. It wouldn't cost you anything. But Facebook ads is almost like it doesn't cost you anything, because you can set your budget to whatever you want. You can do $1 a day if you want. You can do $3, $100, whatever you decide that you want to spend, you can do. So, I have ads running nonstop, and I spend like $3 a day on various kinds of things just because it gets me out there in the media, and I get 100 to 1,000 different impressions a day on very, very inexpensive ads. So if you're a local business and you've got some kind of an offer, or you want to create some contact, you want to begin to create an email list, look at Facebook ads as a really inexpensive way. And especially now, so you usually pay kind of on a per click basis, right? It's kind of on this bid process. But because people are pulling back on ad spending, so these ads in Facebook even become more affordable. So, $5 a day can go a long way and get you hundreds of impressions on an ad, and a number of good clicks as well. So I would say yes, especially in Facebook ads. And again, because you can get hyper, and Instagram is tied with Facebook, so you can, your information, your ads can roll up on Instagram as well. So anyway, so that was the answer to that, and that was my number 2. Any questions?
None on chat.
All right. Bonus tip. I like the bonus tip. I thought that was fun. Facebook live streaming. So kind of back to the issue around video, but doing Facebook live streaming, depending upon what your business is a great way to connect again. You can kind of pre-sell through your Facebook following and fans and on your page that you're going to do a live streaming event at 2:00 today. And this is what we're going to do. And then when you do the live streaming, and it could be 5 minutes, it could be 45 minutes, it doesn't matter. And then you can do whatever the presentation. Again, keep minded that it's content of value. So if you can do that value content in your live stream, you'll begin to create some of those following. I love Facebook live streaming because it's free, and it can really begin to kind of build some engagement. And the other great thing about doing live streaming is that then you can record it while you're doing the live stream, and then you can kind of chop it up and use that video for some different purposes as well, to put on Facebook posts and to do some other kinds of things with. It gives you a chance to kind of create some content of value and then multi-purpose it at a later date. So live streaming is terrific. If you haven't looked into it, absolutely go check it out. It's super easy to do, and it can really begin to create some kind of fun followings, and be creative. This is your time to really kind of think out of the box. What are some different kinds of things that you can do in order to connect and engage with people, with your current clients and your prospective clients. So again, maybe if you're, depending upon what your business is, you have clients, you could send them in a quick email directly and say, hey, we're going to do a Facebook live streaming on X, because it's kind of something that your service does. I know the Sugar and Yoga, as an example, they're doing their yoga classes via Facebook. And what a cool way to do that. That was very creative. It's a great way. My wife is doing those things. So Facebook Live, I love it. All right.
Hey, Randy,
Yeah.
can you can you simply live stream and not have the comments section? Can you just broadcast without inviting all those comments?
Absolutely. So you can, when you go to live stream, you can set up exactly the different parameters that you want to engage, so to speak. So if you don't want comments to flash up, if you don't want, obviously, anybody to be able to say anything, or you can control all of that, so that you are the moderator of that live stream. And there's a lot of different software and programs out there as well that can kind of help you host that stuff independently. But the Facebook app itself is pretty good and pretty in depth. That gives you a lot of control. If you would utilize some software where you can do live stream across multiple different platforms. So I do this with some clients where we'll do a live stream on Facebook that's simultaneously doing a live stream on YouTube and on Instagram. So depending upon what you want to do and to what depth you want to get into. But yeah, the Facebook Live, their platform is pretty good for giving you the ability to moderate that appropriately.
Do they charge you for the live streaming capability?
No, they don't. That's why I love it. It's free. Yeah. Yes. That's what's so great about the world that we live in today. I mean, you think about social media and the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, which is huge, by the way. TikTok is so massive. And it's all free, so you can put out this content and reach millions of people potentially. And I don't know that there's ever been a time in existence that you've had the ability to do something like this and get in front of so many people absolutely free. It's incredible. Third tip here for you, website update. So review your content. This is a chance, so if you're not as busy as you normally would be, this is a great chance to just kind of go in and do a little bit of an audit on your website. Review content. Is it current? Does it make sense? Update the content, add in content like blogs and articles and information. You can put some stuff in regards to like your response to the shutdown and the coronavirus. And so there's a lot of relevant content that you can put on there as well, but it's a great time to really look at an overall picture of your content. And don't forget images. Images are really powerful in regards to the impact that it can have on the visibility of your website. So be sure that your images are good images, and as well that your images, be sure, because this is an issue out there, which is that people will grab images like kind of off of the internet, like they'll Google like, hey, I need a picture of a dog, and they Google like, oh, there's an image, and they pull it and they put it on their website. And then 9 months later, they get a cease and desist order and a pending suit from some law firm out in California says that you've infringed on their copyright for that image, and they want $2,000 to settle it. So if you're going to images, be sure that you pull images off of a image service like Pixel.
Pixabay and Pixabay and Unsplash.
Yes.
Are free.
Yes. So use those kinds of services. Don't just go and pull stuff off of Google, because have had a number of clients kind of run into that. But images are really important though, so don't overlook images.
Trina, could
They
you
can be-
say the names of those again? I didn't quite get them.
One is Pixabay, P-I-X-A, wait.
Yep.
P-I-X-A-B-A-Y, Pixabay, but it's X.
Right.
And then unsplash.com, like water splash, but unsplash.com.
Right.
Those are free.
And also, Randy, for those of you who have adjusted your time, whether or not you're opened and all those type of things, that really should be the first thing that pops up. Don't make your customers or clients be searching through your website right now looking to see what your current information during this time is. If you're closed, do a pop-up that as soon as they reach your website, it just pops up to say, we're closed during this time, or here's our new hours, or whatever it might be.
Exactly. And as well, and I'll tie this in because I think it's important as part of your website. It's kind of the extension of your website, which is your Google My Business page. Be sure that you have that updated as well with information on hours and anything else. Add images to it because especially if you're a local business, almost, what is it, the latest stat I think is like 42% of all search done on Google is for a local intent, meaning I need a plumber or what's a good Mexican restaurant near me, that kind of thing, so that people are looking something where they are. 42% of all search on Google, so that is a huge number. So you want to be sure, and when your restaurant or your dental office or your care facility is being listed, you want to get in that what's called the Google 3-pack there, and and that's for free, and people are going to engage on that. They'll either call, they'll go to your website, they'll see where you're located on the map, and so you want to be sure that Google My Business page is up to date with accurate information, and because that's a big piece in search right now. All right. Any other questions? That was kind of my gig there. This is just my information. I sent out something. I think I posted up on the chamber site as well. But I want to be able to give back as well, and really help support our local businesses and community. And so, I am absolutely available for just some free consultations with anybody. And, there's a link that talkwith38dm.com. That's a link directly to my calendar, and you can go there and just schedule something. Be happy. This is not a sales pitch. I'm like, hey, we'll talk for a half hour or an hour, and I'll brainstorm with you on some things and give you some tips on what you can do and help create a marketing plan with you. So
I did that with you, and thank you very much. It was quite helpful.
Good. Yes.
Well, Randy, you're awesome. I love you. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We are recording this, so we'll get this out to everybody. Please take Randy up on his offer. I think that's an amazing offer. I certainly will be clicking as soon as this is over, because I want to learn about how to get our videos on all three streaming or all three platforms all at once. So I'm going to call him about that. So thanks everybody. We did send you an email today asking you, since you have some downtime, to look at your profiles and maybe update and make sure that everything is up to date, phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. And as Randy mentioned, we have that hot deals. So if there's things going on that you want our chamber members to know, hot deals really is a kind of like a Facebook chatting area for our members only. So use it and get creative and wash your hands, please, and be safe. Thank you, Randy, so much for your time.
You bet. You bet. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Bye, folks.
All right.
Bye.